Illuminati pyramid. I explained to you guys in the past that the system that we're under is, this matrix is Iranian. These Abrahamic religions that run everything, they're actually Iranian. Even the serpent, that's the Canaan line. This is the bloodline of the fallen angels, the Canaanites. Sharia law, because that's what's coming. So there's your Muslims, purple bloodline, those are your so-called Catholics and Christians, and there's your Jews, Abrahamic religions, the ones that run everything. Saturn worship, they worship the god of the dead. And this, like I said, this is basically Saturn is Satan worship, Luciferian. This is the cult of Baal, so let's take a look at it. You see, the massacre of the innocent, because that's what they used them for, as killing machines. Islam, created by the Vatican in 632 AD. It's a Luciferian idolatry. Kabbalah, black cube idolatry for their jihad. So they're being used how they used them in the past for the Inquisition. Now they're doing it for the jihad. This is the population. So this is the Cobra G 5G chart, right? Like it tells you, you won't be able to buy or sell without it. Hospitals, thank you. You're heroes for that. There you go. AI takeover is enslavement of humanity through what AI Borg mind. I don't know if the prophet told you that, right? That was going to happen, because you won't be able to buy or sell without this technology in your body. And it's a global social credit system, because there is no more constitution, because America does not exist anymore. Biden signed the Declaration of North America on January 10, 2023. So they united Canada, North and South America is one. There's no constitution. It's a global constitution that's coming. And it tells you right there, dark transhumanism agenda. So if you have this in your body, you're already connected to the machine anyway. See? Cashless social credit. And who's behind creating the vaccines? Well, this community. They basically run everything. So at the top, it tells you universal free will, because the Creator gave us free will. And he tells you, I'm going to show his video, that he tells you that they have found a way to take away our free will. That's with the vaccine, because the vaccine has a patent, and whoever is the owner of that patent owns you now, because you have their product in your veins, in your body. Transhumanism, that's why they call it dark transhumanism, because now you have no rights, no human rights anymore. So they want to enlist the draft again, starting December 1st. So you see how this doesn't make any sense? Because they're screaming all over the streets. This is in America, death to America, judgment to Babylon. But then you're going to draft them. You're going to give them weapons, right? You're going to give them weapons and equip them, because you think that these Muslim believers are going to go to Iran to kill other believers. You don't think they're going to use those very weapons to turn it on you. That's why it doesn't make any sense, because you can't draft all America and not include them. Especially because they're overtaking America, because that's why they opened the borders throughout the whole world, because this is their jihad. They're going to try to make everybody a Muslim. But they're being used as a cleansing tool, because they themselves are going to be enslaved to this machine anyway. And they have no free will. Once you have this in your body, you have no free will.
Is the Pope? He is the Emperor of Rome. Rome never died, never faded away. It became the Vatican. What is the Vatican? It is the priesthood of all of the old pagan religions of Rome, built upon the deception that they are Christian. Can man change the orders of God? Can man elevate himself above God? No. Then why did the Pope change the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday, the venerable day of the worship of the sun Osiris? Why in the outer courtyard of the Vatican is there a temple of the sun, an obelisk, and a reflecting pool built as a fountain around the base of the obelisk? Because what we're talking about in Dealey Plaza and in Washington, D.C. exists also in the Vatican. And I'm not trying to insult Catholics, I'm just trying to tell you the truth.
Some governments and corporations, for the first time in history, have the power to basically hack human beings. There is a lot of talk about hacking computers, hacking smartphones, hacking bank accounts, but the big story of our era is the ability to hack human beings. And by this I mean that if you have enough data and you have enough computing power, you can understand people better than they understand themselves, and then you can manipulate them in ways which were previously impossible. And in such a situation, the old democratic system stopped functioning. We need to reinvent democracy for this new era in which humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, you know, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me, so whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. We need to come to terms with the fact that, no matter, again, this is where philosophy meets computer science and biology.
In 2013, listen, they already had the vaccine right? They went to the United States Supreme Court and asked them, if we altered people's DNA, could we own them? And the court says yes. Now they're going back to the courts and asking for that patent on those people who have already been deemed property. They just need the patent, and they have the full 100% legal rights over you if you took the shot. You no longer have any rights because you are no longer declared a human being. This was their plan. But the challenge that they're facing right now is that slavery. To imprison someone and force them to do and work for you and do this here, that's slavery. Now the Constitution says slavery is outlawed. So you have a conflicting, you know what I mean? You can't own a person because at the time, I bet you at the time that the framers of the Constitution never envisioned that people would try to be made slaves by turning them into half human, half robot. So you a hybrid. This is what the government is doing to its own people behind the people's backs. This is what CNN and them ain't telling you. This is what they not telling you. They are attempting to turn people into slaves and bring back slavery through the shot by patenting human beings and making them work for free.
Well, it is what it is because that's why it is what it is.
We're behind the invention and creation of these COVID vaccines that are going to save humanity now. The Moderna vaccine. Okay, the Moderna vaccine, the chief medical officer in charge of research and development, the person who was in charge of putting it all together is the Israeli scientist Tal Zaks. Pfizer. Who's the CEO of Pfizer? In other words, the person who heads the company. Albert Bourla, who is a Greek Jew. And then, who is the chief scientist? Chief scientist is Mikael Dolsten, a Jew from Sweden. Both COVID vaccines that are now going to rescue humanity, both were created by Jews.
59 years old, in good health. I'm not working in the front line. So my type is not recommended to get vaccination. My type is not recommended to get vaccination.
For the past 60 years, you have had to volunteer and register yourself for the draft. Because of a law passed earlier this year, the draft registration is now automatic and it takes place December 1st. If you are an American citizen aged 18 to 26, you will be registered automatically. Just 4 weeks after the midterm elections and after Trump said he can outweigh Iran, you will be eligible for the draft. And because it's automatic, if they come to your door and say you've been drafted, you legally have no way to fight back or tell them no. And in December, this takes place 1 month before the American-Israeli Military Integration Act in 2027. We are going to be automatically registered for the military draft 1 month after the elections for the first time in history and 1 month before the American and Israeli militaries merge. You can look up all of this. It is all true, and we are now running out of time. I don't have an answer. If they enact the draft, we are automatically registered. End of story. Breaking news on December 1st, you and I will be automatically placed in the Selective Service Draft.
There'll end up being a draft. They'll use that to kill off a lot of people like us or our children, that sort of thing. But keep in mind, as a draft comes, who are they going to put in American uniforms? They'll put in like the Haitians and the Bangladeshis and that sort of thing that can be used to kill us. They don't even speak our language, that sort of thing. This is normal. Keep in mind, historically, this is normal. Listen, I was in special forces, right? Why does special forces even exist? Special forces existed to go raise foreign armies, right? Yep. Like Jesuit style, right? I mean, that's what they did, and that's what they do, right? And so, this, I look at it through a lens that maybe some people don't, but I mean, this is normal business, is to go somewhere and raise. Look, when I was in Iraq and Afghanistan, what did the U.S. forces and coalition forces spend most of their time doing? Raising the Afghan National Army or the Iraqi army, right? The Iraqi police, the Afghan police. We were raising them up. This is normal. And so this is almost certainly what you're about to see, an obvious relief in the United States. In other words, here's the draft, time to go to war, and people are like, well, I don't have to go to war because they're going to draft these illegal aliens, so okay, go ahead and go do it. And the next thing you know, your notice is in the mail, and here it is. If you don't show up for the draft, all your funding is cut. Your digital money that they'll end up having, you don't have any money. Your car doesn't work. Your electricity goes out. You can't go through the airport, or you'll be scarfed up and taken to a back room and thrown in a container and taken off to Fort Bragg or something, right? They'll kill you off. Look what's happening with the the Ukrainians. Yep. They're kidnapping those guys off the streets. They're going to end up doing this draft. I strongly think that they'll do this. Keep in mind, if you want to sound like Nostradamus of war prediction, just predict these things and you'll be right. The war will grow. The war will grow, and it will grow out of control like a wildfire. It'll last longer than people expect, and it ends up in places that most people didn't predict. But again, this is a process war. It's been going on for many centuries at least. This is our train stop when in it, and people are going to react to it the way that they react to it. If you make mistakes, you may die. This is big boy rules. If you screw up and take the jab, you're dead, right? This is no joke, right? It's it's the same with like landmines. You step, boom, you're dead, right? And it's the same right now. If you answer that draft, they're going to jab you up. You're going to be sent off to some war, and you'll be killed, right? That's probably what'll happen. This is not about defending the United States. We all know that. People watching this show in particular realize this is not about defending the United States. Likely they'll end up. حجة الله يا إمامي وياك تنسى ضلوع الزهرة تنسى يا ويل العصرة ما ظنتي تنسى دعايا الأعداد تنسى الخيول الباسة صدر الإمام وراحت فوق ضلوع كربله من تنخاف هذه دموع الشيعة يا سيدي مفجوعة انهض يا بالثارات والله وياك انهض يا بالثارات والله وياك يا شيال الراية يا هبنا واملنا دايم ننخاك يا ابو صالح كلنا قوم انهض للميدان شيل البلوى عنا وانصر جند الاسلام
word and with a decree of yours you will annihilate them. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, you annihilated. And you destroyed the likes of Ad and Thamud and Fir'aun. These are the Fir'auns and the Ad and Thamud of today. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, we ask you, Ya Allah, destroy them. Destroy them, Allah. Take them off the service of this earth. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Akram al-Akramin.
على القوم الكافرين اللهم انصر الإسلام وأعز المسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين اللهم انصر عبادك الموحدين اللهم انصرهم على القوم المجرم أحصهم عددا اللهم اقتلهم بددا ولا تغادر منهم
اللهم يا ربنا إنهم يجاهدون في سبيلك اللهم إنهم يجاهدون في سبيلك اللهم انصرهم يا رب العالمين اللهم انصرهم على أعدائهم يا رب العالمين اللهم عليك باليهود والنصارى اللهم عليك باليهود وأعوانهم فإنهم لا يعجزونك اللهم احصهم عددا اللهم احصهم عددا واقتلهم بددا ولا تغادر منهم أحدا يا رب العالمين.
عليك بالصليبيين اللهم عليك بهم فإنهم لا يعجزونك عليهم يا رب العالمين اللهم نصرك الذي وعدت على القوم الكافرين.
Allahumma destroy all the enemies of Islam. Allahumma destroy all the enemies of Islam. May Allah destroy them completely and show in them, show in us the great signs of Allah in their utter destruction, annihilation, humiliation.
عليك بالأمريكان ومن والاهم اللهم أحصهم عددا واقتلهم بددا ولا تغادر منهم أحدا.
يا رب اللهم اقتلهم بددا اللهم احصهم عددا واقتلهم بددا ولا تغادر